And to take us through this last lap will be Natalia from Hedera Sustainable Solutions. Your time to shine. Natalia, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just to test here the microphone. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Natalia Realpe Carrillo. I am Director of Hedera Sustainable Solutions and Klaus-Top Sustainability Fellow at the Institute for Advanced Sustainability Studies in Potsdam, and co-head of the Green Inclusive and Climate Smart Finance Action Group of the European Microfinance Platform. And I'm very happy to be here today in this panel session. We have 4 speakers. Mr. Tezera Bekele from Peace MFI in Ethiopia. We have also Mr. Diéry Sene from Fansoto in Senegal, and Mr. Olivier Deiters from Triple Jump. And virtually we will have also Mr. Aaron Leopold from Edugrow. Is Mr. Aaron already connected? Perfect, thank you. So how this panel will go, we will have 4 presentations, or 3 presentations plus 1 pitch from Mr. Aaron. And then we will go with a set of 4 questions for the speakers, and also then opening the floor for your questions here to pose to my speakers. We're here today to discuss about inclusive finance and green economy. What are the challenges for access to sustainable basic services? Let's continue. So we have here today a very special guest. We have from the different perspectives, from impact investment, from the private sector, from financial service providers, and myself moderating as IT provider and researcher, where we are going to discuss how green inclusive finance and access to basic services can be enhanced by microfinance. And by the microfinance sector, what are the challenges, the ways forward, what opportunities, and what's next after this COVID crisis that we have or that we are experiencing. So with this, let me give you the introduction of the topic and why is it imperative that we find solutions and ways forward to promote access to basic services and microfinance. Microfinance institutions are highly motivated to develop products and reduce their exposure to environmental risk by offering lending products that factor climate environmental risks. I read this literally from this conclusion, and that has been repeated along the day, how microfinance institutions can play a role to build resilience. And here I'd like to bring to you some key facts that we have from the Green Inclusive and Climate Smart Finance Action Group. From the data that we have collected in the latest 10 years, more than 300 microfinance institutions are dedicated or are promoting green inclusive finance. There are more than 3,000 loans disbursed, green loans disbursed, with an estimated amount of more than 300 million of US dollars. However, in order to promote and further enhance this trend, microfinance institutions require both technical capacity and softer financing terms to develop financial products that are fit to invest in the environment. We have discussed about tools in order to assess environmental performance and how microfinance institutions can engage in order to develop green inclusive finance. And we have already 5 different actions. These are establish environmental strategy, assess the client's vulnerabilities, reduce emissions and manage direct impact or environmental impact, assess environmental risks, establish an exclusion list, and train the staff on environmental issues. And on the products and services, we have here different types. Green products, non-financial services such as trainings, climate-proof loans, insurance products, saving products. Today, we're going to focus on why is it important to assess clients' vulnerabilities in order to deliver green loan products from energy lending, renewable energy and energy efficiency, water and sanitation and hygiene, waste management, nature-based solutions, green businesses, but specifically focusing on energy. This is when we're talking about basic services, and because of this constellation of the panel that we have, we're going to talk mostly, and when referring to basic services, what is the role of microfinance institution to enhance energy access? However, I want to emphasize that the scope of actions that microfinance institutions can do in order to commit for green inclusive finance and to basic services is much broader. We had yesterday a training on collecting data for WASH, for food security, for energy access, and this entail like the whole range of actions that microfinance institution can do. So when microfinance institutions want to start a project and already recognize there are some needs in the ground, we have a first picture that it's this black and white. We have the census data, some binary data that says some percentage of population has or does not have access to electricity. However, this is not like a black and white. It is not that everybody lives in the darkness with kerosene lamps or candles, and not everyone that has light has already like completely perfect electricity service. It can be interrupted electricity supply, or it can be with voltage fluctuation that can damage electrical appliances, or it can have also insufficient capacity that doesn't enable households to turn on all the electrical appliances that they have. So that's why it's important to understand what are the needs of clients, what is the level of electricity supply, what are all these grace levels in tier 1 up to tier 5, are there opportunities for other clean energy technologies, and if so, how will increase the quality of energy at the household level? Are there opportunities for solar home systems, or whether for solar lamps, or for biogas digesters, or diesel gensets? What are microfinance clients using? What could be offered? And here we're going to see what can be these challenges and how to overcome them in order to improve this access to energy services and have, ideally, at the end, everyone with quality energy access. So fostering inclusive finance, data-driven decision-making at microfinance institutions by identifying the vulnerabilities at household level. And this is a message we want to repeat all over again, the clear need of understanding, of listening the clients in order to foster green opportunities. So to validate that microfinance is a channel to enable access to clean and modern technologies by understanding the client's needs. With this introduction, I'm very happy to give now the floor to Olivier Deiters from Triple Jump, who is going to present us what is Triple Jump's role in enabling energy access.
Thank you, Natalia. And first of all, thank you to the organization for hosting this event, and thank you again also, Natalia, for hosting this event hosting this panel. So my name is Olivier Deiters. I'm the regional manager for Triple Jump Africa Middle East, and I'd like to give a bit of a perspective here, indeed, from the investor's perspective when it comes to green finance. But maybe to start off first, for the ones that don't know Triple Jump, I'll give you a brief introduction of who we are. We are a responsible investment manager. We started off in 2006, and with the various funds we have under management, we try to support the financial sector. So what we do is we provide equity or debt to financial intermediaries, as we call them. And originally, Triple Jump started out with supporting microfinance, but over the years, we have really enlarge our investment scope. So today we also do a lot of SME finance and, for instance, also housing finance, but always through financial intermediaries, so MFIs, MFBs, banks, leasing companies. Today we have 900 million euro assets under management, and we are active in all of emerging markets. That's just Triple Jump at a glance. And maybe just focusing on Africa. I think that's the next slide. So in Africa, of course, we're also present here since 15 years now. And I think what I like about this picture of the continent that shows our footprint, it doesn't show where we are today, but it shows where we have done all our investments over the last 15 years. So we focus on the full of Africa, and also, by the way, North Africa and, of course, Middle East. And to date, we have around 20 investments, not only actually in MFIs, but also in microfinance banks or leasing companies. Our office is in Nairobi, and from there we cover the African region and also Middle East. Now, maybe coming back to the topic of today. So since 2019, or actually the end of 2019, just before COVID, Triple Jump launched a new fund, the Energy Entrepreneurs Growth Fund, EEGF. It's a fund that its first close was around $45 million, and we're looking to raise another $75 million. And I'd say the difference between this fund and all of our other funds is that, as I mentioned, the other funds all support financial intermediaries, right? And in this case, with this fund, we actually invest directly into companies or enterprises, if you will. So that's a different type of investments. Hence, we also have a different team or a dedicated team working for this fund, right? So this fund focuses on companies, on supporting companies that are active in the access to energy sector. And you can argue, like, why did we start this fund? And I think that's the next slide. I think what we did, and Natalia already elaborated on that, is, of course, I mean, the main reason is that we feel that access to energy is a basic need, right? It's also one of the Sustainable Development Goals, and of many that we support. But in a sense, we feel that it's a basic need, and it should be there for everyone. Hence, we started this fund. And the beauty of this fund, I would say, is that it is slightly different maybe compared to other funds that also focus on access to energy. We've seen, right, while developing this fund, that there is a lot of interest of investors in this sector. So there's a lot of debt financing, which is great. But obviously, we're dealing with a lot of early stage companies that are loss-making. And with the amount of debt, they're highly leveraged. And because of solvency requirements, what they actually also need is equity or equity type financing. So this fund also focuses more on that niche, and especially on mezzanine finance. And again, it does equity, it does debt, but the mezzanine finance that's where we try to differentiate compared to others. And I'd say the beauty of mezzanine finance is that it's not equity, so it does not dilute the equity, but it helps companies to comply with solvency requirements. And also for investors in the fund, because it's mezzanine, there is a repayment schedule behind it. So also the investors also like it. And maybe a next step, just COVID, maybe just the impact of COVID as we've seen. As much as we fully understand, there's been more and more also focus on health and maybe less on access to energy. Hence, again, the need for funds like EEGF. But of course, COVID also had an impact, and because of all the, I'd say, economic restrictions, a lot of companies, but also like MFIs we've seen, had obviously challenges in repayments and went into a sort of restructuring. So also from that angle, we see that there is a need for equity or quasi-equity this year or next year. Now, maybe already come to a sort of conclusion. So what is it that we do? Well, basically as a wrap-up, so through the EEGF fund, Triple Jump supports companies that are active in the access to energy sector. And again, especially helping them with this specific financing need when it comes to equity or quasi-equity funding. That's directly, and maybe indirectly, of course, Triple Jump, we have this 15-year experience of financing microfinance institutions in Africa. So we know them well, and we could argue that the MFIs also know Triple Jump. I mean, I can say, hopefully without too much arrogance, that people also know Triple Jump as a brand. And what we could try to do is obviously leverage that network we have by encouraging, and also I'd like to again refer to Natalia's presentation, by encouraging MFIs to further develop this green financing product. I visited a lot of MFIs in the region, and it's very clear that obviously their main focus is to finance small businesses, which is great, and or agri-finance. But I think that they can step up when it comes to really developing tailor-made financial product when it comes to access to energy. And again, I mean, we're happy also to encourage that and to leverage our network to that end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olivier. Now we will continue with Mr. Tezera from Peace MFI in Ethiopia. And let's go here with the presentation. Yes. Okay. Now you can start, Mr. Tezera.
Thank you very much. My name is Tezera from Peace Microfinance. I will briefly present ours. Peace is a deposit-taking microfinance that operates in rural area, largely with rural financial intermediation program. To give you a background, next slide. Ethiopia, this is our country. Mostly the country has dry and opportunities where you can do green revolution. And taking all this, there is also background from the government. Here is the picture of our Prime Minister. He is on seedling of plants. This is if government has little commitment and aspiration, and the community also will follow. And we believe in that. In 1 year, there are about 6 billion seedling of plants that has been proposed and accomplished. Next slide. This is not artificial plant, and they changed their office with this type of green. There is an opportunity for microfinance, and Peace is a deposit. It mobilizes deposit from the general public, and we give loan largely for rural farmers, 80% for agriculture, and also we finance non-agriculture too. And we do have renewable energy loan for farmers using PayGo. This is a solar product. We got the opportunity to collaborate with organizations like African Enterprise Credit Fund, and we avail micro loan insurance for borrowers, and we have a mobile and agent banking services, and we give finance for small and medium enterprises, particularly for agro processing. And also we do have smallholders farmer irrigation program, which they borrow pumps for irrigation purpose that works using solar energy. Next slide. You see this, we give financial service for rural farmers, and they are carrying this solar product. And when we give them clean and affordable lighting loan, they also access to information. It's not only a solar product alone. Next. We have operation in 31 branches. Of this, 30 of them are completely rural, targeting women. At least 75% of them are female. And we also give children and youth with our financial and non-financial services. And we have what we call Lenege. Lenege is our Amharic word. It means for tomorrow. We give financial and non-financial services for children and youth in collaboration with UNCDF, which used to be a project. Now it is a program with us. We have a clean and affordable lighting loan. We call it Call Ethiopia project in collaboration with AECF. We have efficient solar loan products in collaboration with Development Bank of Ethiopia. This is RUFIP program. Agricultural financing in micro loan and small scale medium enterprises. Currently, we have about 100,000 depositors and 30,000 borrowers. The PAYGO program has been very successful, and we collaborate with organizations like Angaza, which is based in Kenya, and also BCAT of Great Britain for our PAYGO program. All of the products that we finance are Lighting Africa certification and global certification. And this is the basis for our service. Next slide. Renewable energy financing is now on its board with all of these opportunities. I mean, you can see a happy mother is carrying a solar product, going home and using it efficiently, and it is certified product. Otherwise, before she used to use firing wood, and it is completely in the rural area. Next. You can see those children. They are our clients, and we give them financial education. And also, their parents, they deposit money for them, and they can use it for schooling and other purposes. And also, for tomorrow's, they are our clients, and we give them non-financial services, financial education. So we do have challenges, as everyone, COVID-19 and business slow is one of the challenges. There is inflation. Inflation is very problematic in our country, and also we have political instability. As everyone, you might know it, but hopefully everything will be calm in the near future. There are demand for business, and we have insufficient in-house capacity. We need a collaboration with others. Organization capacity is very low, and so I think there are other challenges because of the financial inclusive strategy is not yet updated. We have been prioritized with other political issue, and that is another challenge. And we have the core banking system challenge, and for that we have been collaborated with about 25 microfinancing institutions to have a shared MIS. The other is the Credit Reference Bureau is not available in our country. It is on the way. We are on the final stage to have a Credit Reference Bureau without having a national identification card. That is pretty, funny. We will solve it anyway. Those are challenges in the financial sector. I hope until very recently the financial sector is very closed, but there are ways and opportunities coming to open for outsiders. Well, there are, for the future, there are opportunities for the future. The future holds a lot of opportunities. As per the market, we are living in a highly populated country. Maybe next to Nigeria is the second populated country, Ethiopia, and so there is very huge market, and that is the big opportunities. There are possibilities to enhance business. The other, there is a clear, since we are deposit-taking microfinance, having that opportunity, we can give reliable service for our clients. Our plan for the future, we can reach as many clients, and the demand is very promising. Hopefully, our country will have a stable journey in increasing its economic growth, because as you might heard, Ethiopia has a very good economic growth journey, and those will create opportunities for market diversification and business uplift. Well, this is the picture that we finance the rural area. We have good rivers, and also small holders irrigation farming is very easily done. Green financing areas, we have water credit loan, energy efficient loans through PayGo, and the farmers, smallholders irrigation financing is, those are our financial products that we have in collaboration with other organizations by having partnership model. There are impacts registered at household level by our services. PIFs, MFI regularly capture data, and there are micro impacts at household level as per our experience for the last 22 years. Farmers proved to create asset at household level. Every year, more than 10,000 farmers register impact in their livelihood. And the board of directors is very strong, and we do have both the social and financial impact assessment and report. Well, thank you very much. Finally, as you see, the pictures will speak of themselves. Our rural clients who use firewood they can access solar product, and the farmers also access to information. And that girl who used to use a kerosene light, she can easily access to solar product, which is technically and also practically proved and certified. We have the mobile banking and the agent banking service, and all, when we see this, we do have a digital journey as well. Thank you very much.
Tezera. So we have had a very interesting journey, seeing the experiences from Triple Jump as impact investor already with experience financing SMEs dedicated to deliver energy products. Now we had the experience from MFI, Peace MFI in Ethiopia, already with experience in financing products with the pay-as-you-go system, backup with technology, and also understanding what are the needs, doing market assessments in order to see what is the ability and willingness to pay. And now we are going to explore the case of Fansoto, an MFI in Senegal, Entrepreneur du Monde, who is in the way in order to develop their energy program by first knowing or asking how is it possible to do it, is there a demand, what are the needs, and then to roll up. So Mr. Diéry, now you can talk. He will be speaking in French, so those that need translation, you can put your headset.
Merci beaucoup, Nathalie. Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour ou bonsoir. Je pense que c'est bonsoir maintenant. Donc, je suis très heureux vraiment de participer à cet atelier. Je vois que tout à l'heure, notre doyen, M. Gueye, disait qu'est-ce qu'une jeune IMF fait dans une rencontre pareille. Mais je crois qu'aujourd'hui, au niveau du Sénégal, nous sommes le petit bébé des institutions de microfinance. Donc nous n'avons pas une expérience à faire valoir aujourd'hui, mais nous voulons partager avec vous notre motivation, notre engagement et notre volonté à faire de la microfinance sociale. Et cela passe nécessairement par une très bonne compréhension des besoins sociaux des bénéficiaires afin de mieux apporter une offre qui est adaptée à leurs besoins. C'est pourquoi, dans mon exposé, je vous partagerai une étude qui a été conduite dans le cadre d'un partenariat avec Hedera sur comprendre les besoins sociaux des couches vulnérables pour mieux les servir. À travers cette étude, j'aimerais d'abord, avant de commencer, vous dire Fansoto c'est quoi d'abord, parce que c'est une très jeune institution, même au niveau du Sénégal. Certainement, il y a encore des personnes qui ne l'ont pas connue parce qu'elle a été créée et agréée en 2019. Ce qui fait que, si on le compare à l'écosystème des institutions de microfinance au Sénégal, elle n'a pas encore d'expérience à faire valoir, comme je l'ai dit tantôt. Mais c'est une institution qui est créée sur la base de constats qui ont été effectivement réalisés dans le secteur de la microfinance à travers l'Afrique. Beaucoup de pays aujourd'hui se vantent d'un nombre d'institutions de microfinance important. Mais pourtant, on constate toujours qu'il y a des franges importantes de la population qui est encore exclue. Soit par l'inaccessibilité des institutions qui ne vont pas là où se trouvent les personnes vulnérables ou ceux qui en ont besoin, ou bien les institutions se trouvent là-bas, mais les conditions d'accès ne sont pas également adaptées aux besoins de ces couches vulnérables. D'autres constats également nous ont permis de constater que même s'il y a des institutions dans un rayon d'action, on constate que souvent l'offre ne prend pas le temps de comprendre d'abord les besoins avant d'être exprimée. On amène déjà une offre bien faite pour justement prévaloir, apporter une solution aux besoins des populations. Et souvent, on constate des dérives, soit sur le fait que les bénéficiaires eux-mêmes ne vont pas prendre le crédit parce qu'ils ne s'adaptent pas, il n'est pas adapté à leurs besoins, ou ils le prennent, mais on constate qu'elles s'appauvrissent plus qu'elles ne devraient s'enrichir. Donc cela nous a conduit à créer au niveau du Sénégal une institution de microfinance qui se veut sociale. Ce n'est pas une vocation sociale verbale. Nous avons simplifié toutes les conditions d'accès au crédit, les conditions d'accès même à l'IMF, à travers une adhésion libre et gratuite de tout bénéficiaire ou de tout bénéficiaire. Nous avons également constaté que souvent, les conditions de garantie excluaient également beaucoup de personnes à l'accès au crédit et nous avons pris l'engagement de lever toute forme de garantie matérielle ou financière à l'accès aux services de Fansoto. Et ce qui amène un caractère beaucoup plus inclusif parce qu'aujourd'hui, on ne demande plus de l'argent pour recevoir de l'argent. On demande juste un engagement et une volonté. Ainsi, Fansoto, depuis sa création, s'est donné les moyens de mettre en place un système de gestion de performance sociale. Certainement, cette étude vient compléter le dispositif qui existait déjà. Mais chaque individu qui entre dans notre programme, nous avons mis en place des outils et un système d'information qui permet de mesurer son niveau de vulnérabilité avant, pendant et aussi longtemps qu'il restera dans le processus, nous continuerons à évaluer pour voir l'impact dans les changements de ces conditions sociales de vie. C'est à ce niveau, en 2020, nous avions fait une étude sur les conditions sociales de nos bénéficiaires qui ont été donc servis de 2017 à 2019. Et nous avons constaté des résultats suivant que certains de ces bénéficiaires-là, 47% par exemple de ces clients n'avaient pas encore accès à l'eau à la maison. Ça, ce sont les études qui nous l'ont montré avant même l'étude qu'on a conduite en novembre. Plus de 66% des bénéficiaires utilisent encore le bois ou le charbon de bois comme énergie de cuisson. Et nous tous, nous sommes convaincus que l'utilisation du bois entraîne une dégradation de la forêt, mais également un impact plus approfondi des changements climatiques et de leurs conséquences. Nous avons également constaté que 60% de nos bénéficiaires n'avaient pas assez à manger. Ou bien ils mangeaient, mais la nourriture n'était pas de très bonne qualité ou d'une quantité suffisante. Et on a vu qu'aussi 52% avaient des difficultés d'accès à certains niveaux de soins de santé. Donc ces constats nous ont permis de comprendre qu'aujourd'hui, il va falloir que nous essayions d'avoir une compétence beaucoup plus approfondie sur la recherche de la compréhension des besoins de nos bénéficiaires. Et c'est à ce niveau-là que nous avons été en partenariat avec Hedera, qui nous a proposé de conduire une étude sur la vulnérabilité de nos bénéficiaires. Et cette étude a trouvé une motivation et des objectifs au niveau de Fansoto. Notre motivation pour cette étude, c'était surtout d'avoir une meilleure satisfaction de nos bénéficiaires parce qu'on va avoir une meilleure connaissance de leurs besoins. Et on va structurer nos offres ou réadapter nos offres à ces nouveaux besoins ou à ces besoins exprimés et peut-être qu'on n'avait pas pris en compte. Mais surtout également de réaffirmer notre sacerdoce et de rester une institution de microfinance sociale, de répondre également aux besoins sociaux de base afin d'améliorer durablement les conditions sociales et économiques de nos bénéficiaires, sensibiliser nos bénéficiaires sur des opportunités de l'économie verte également et assurer un équilibre optimal entre nos performances financières et nos performances sociales. Ces motivations nous ont conduit donc d'entrer en partenariat avec Hedera, qui a financé l'enquête sur la vulnérabilité des besoins. Mais quels ont été les objectifs que nous avions poursuivis? Nous avons poursuivi comme objectif, certes, de mieux comprendre nos besoins des bénéficiaires, de consolider la fidélité et l'appropriation de nos bénéficiaires envers notre institution et offrir des services adaptés aux besoins de nos bénéficiaires, mais également établir des partenariats avec le secteur public ou privé pour des besoins dont nous n'avons pas la compétence de prendre en charge. À cet effet, maintenant, comment cette enquête s'était déroulée? Donc, nous avions, avec l'appui de Hedera, recruté des enquêteurs externes. Donc, parce que l'étude a été focalisée sur les zones rurales. Or, nous, aujourd'hui, avec nos 7 agences, nous n'avons que 2 agences en milieu urbain. Toutes nos agences sont en milieu rural. Et Entrepreneurs du Monde également, qui est notre partenaire traditionnel et qui a promu notre institution, a mis des ressources humaines à notre disposition pour accompagner l'étude. Hedera a conçu un questionnaire d'enquête qui a pris en compte l'accès à l'énergie, productif ou domestique, le wash et la sécurité alimentaire. Donc, ces questions étaient alignées aux standards des grands organismes internationaux. Nous avions ciblé un échantillon de 750 bénéficiaires et toutes des femmes dans 4 agences situées dans 3 régions. Le personnel ou l'équipe qui était chargée de conduire les enquêtes a été formée et on avait utilisé un outil EDK qui permettait instantanément de collecter les informations sur le terrain et de les reporter sur le système d'information. Ceci nous avait grandement facilité l'analyse et le traitement des données à temps. Parce que chaque soir, les données étaient déjà consolidées et les erreurs pouvaient être détectées et les changements pouvaient être apportés à temps. Maintenant, cette étude a conduit à des résultats. Les résultats, au niveau de l'accès à l'énergie, nous avons constaté que 82% de nos bénéficiaires étaient raccordés au réseau électrique national, mais que 18% n'avaient pas du tout accès à l'électricité. Seulement 3,5% disposaient d'un éclairage solaire. Sur les autres sources d'énergie, 2,5% ont une solution de cuisson à gaz LGP. Le gaz en milieu rural n'est pas très accessible parce que les familles en milieu rural sont très grandes. L'utilisation d'un gaz pour faire de la cuisine le matin, le soir, c'est pratiquement tous les 3 jours, il était amené à aller changer de gaz. Et le gaz coûte à peu près 3 000 à 3 500, voire même 4 000. Donc ça devient un fort budget pour des personnes supposées être donc à faible revenu. Ensuite, on a constaté que jusqu'à présent, 59% de nos bénéficiaires utilisaient encore les fours à 3 pierres. Et ces fours-là, si on est en milieu rural, où généralement nous n'avons pas une cuisine couverte, on met à l'ombre ou en plein air les 4 pierres, ça signifie qu'il y a une forte consommation de bois parce que le vent souffle de tous les côtés et le bois les flammes ne sont pas suffisamment concentrées sur l'ustensile de cuisine pour diminuer la durée des cuissons et donc le volume d'énergie utilisé. Et ensuite, au niveau de la santé également, nous avons vu certainement que la majorité des bénéficiaires ici étaient au niveau donc des structures de santé. Et au niveau de la sécurité alimentaire, 25,3% ont connu une insécurité alimentaire durant l'année 2020. Et 12% disent que régulièrement, ils connaissent une insécurité alimentaire. Et ceci est dû, malheureusement, depuis quelques années, au changement climatique certainement, mais également l'année dernière à la pandémie, et autant de facteurs qui ont aggravé aujourd'hui la ténacité de l'insécurité alimentaire au niveau du milieu rural de nos bénéficiaires. Et au niveau des WASH, seulement 35% disposent de l'eau courante dans leur maison, 64,5% ne disposent pas d'eau courante de bonne qualité dans leur maison, soit ils sont dans des robinets publics, ou bien dans des puits qui sont protégés ou qui ne sont pas protégés. 16,3% disposent de toilettes avec des fosses septiques en briques. Par contre, 21,4% ont encore des latrines à fosses perdues. Et souvent, ces entretiens l'entretien de ces latrines est souvent difficile parce qu'il nécessite beaucoup d'eau et que la nuit également, on n'a pas forcément d'éclairage dans ces latrines. Et les vidanges pour les fosses septiques qui sont dans les domiciles, les vidanges sont récurrents, mais également coûtent souvent très cher pour les ménages à faible revenu. Maintenant, on voit au niveau des résultats de l'utilisation productive de l'énergie. Aujourd'hui, les diapos que vous voyez en bleu, c'est la demande existante. En vert, c'est aujourd'hui ceux qui ont accès à ce genre de solutions. Et on voit que toujours la demande est soit double que l'offre présente. Ce qui signifie qu'au niveau de ces ménages-là, un produit d'énergie serait accepté parce que c'est une nécessité pour les ménages et ils en ont besoin. Mais malheureusement, il n'y a pas beaucoup de solutions d'énergie, notamment solaire, en milieu rural au Sénégal. De plus en plus, ce sont ceux qui ont de l'argent qui le font dans leur maison, mais en milieu rural, peut-être le coût d'investissement, le coût de premier investissement est souvent très élevé, sachant que maintenant, dans le long terme, nous pourrons avoir la possibilité donc de réduire ce coût. Mais pour acquérir tout de suite un panneau solaire, souvent ça coûte très cher et pour des crédits qui n'existent pas, donc on voit que facilement la demande est largement supérieure à l'offre existante. Maintenant, au regard de ces résultats, Fansoto s'est fait une idée qu'effectivement, il y a un marché sur l'énergie qu'il peut se positionner. Mais ces études ne sont pas en elles seules suffisantes parce qu'elles ne donnent pas la qualité et le type de matériel solaire dont les bénéficiaires ont besoin. Mais de toute façon, on sait que le besoin, il est là. Maintenant, Fansoto se donne l'engagement de devoir analyser davantage les résultats, procéder à une évaluation des solutions qui sont existantes dans les zones d'intervention, étudier des mécanismes à mettre en place pour les bénéficiaires afin qu'ils puissent avoir à court moyen terme des solutions d'énergie et décider maintenant sur la faisabilité ou la pertinence de démarrer un pilote. Et ce pilote-là, à la fin, si tout cela est validé maintenant, le pilote sur l'énergie devra être lancé sur une agence, sur 2 agences, sur une période, pour qu'ensuite l'on fasse l'évaluation et voir comment on peut généraliser. Voilà donc l'étude qui nous a été proposée par Hedera et qui a abouti à ces enseignements fort intéressants et qui donne à Fansoto la possibilité aujourd'hui de se décider et de s'orienter vers l'énergie solaire, notamment à partir de 2022. Je vous remercie. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sene, for this overview of the study and also the results and what are the ways forward after this assessment of almost 700 households in the agencies that Fansoto has in Senegal. So after this overview of the microfinance institutions, I'm very happy also now to give the word to Mr. Aaron Leopold from Edugrow, who will join us virtually to the session and tell us about his work as manager, director of Edugrow and how it's enabling energy access in Africa. So the word is yours, and then we will go for the questions round. Wait a second, we need to put the volume of your...
Okay.
Yes. Now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. Wonderful. So if you could move forward one slide, I think that there's a placeholder slide for my discussion. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much, and I apologize that I could not be there personally. It's a great honor to be speaking, especially after such amazing panelists that we've heard just now. I think you can go back. the slides. We don't need to jump forward. I just have the one slide. Thanks. And what I would like to talk about now is the company Edugrow, which I think that is going to be a new and interesting company to discuss in the context of this panel. I have to say the other panelists were extremely impressive and in a way heartwarming, and in a way they were a bit depressing because they outlined for a company like Edugrow, but the availability of microfinance.
Okay, let's wait until we have him reconnected.
Sorry, I got a disconnection.
Yes, we are hearing you.
Great. So yeah, I don't know where I lost you, but let me just kind of continue on with the story. So Edugrow is an interesting MFI. We are an asset financing company that only sells productive use appliances in partnership with companies. As far as we know, we're one of the only companies like this on the continent, if not one. We started from an energy company, from a mini grid company that does work in rural Uganda. And we are now partnered also with the National Energy Utility of Uganda, UMEME. And the reason Edugrow exists is that energy companies around the continent cannot economically provide power to rural communities that consume very much power. As some of the other panelists mentioned, it's very expensive to provide power to rural communities, especially for commercial and small industrial purposes. It's simply expensive, and poor communities are poor, right? So there's a massive demand-supply imbalance that microfinancing for productive use appliances can help to balance. And the fascinating thing is that if we do this right, if we provide microfinance for income generation using electricity, it can change the economics of rural electrification. That means it can change the potential to electrify schools, electrify health clinics, provide security under street lighting, provide jobs and opportunities to not migrate away from rural areas for young people. And the Edugrow story is really all about that. The mini grid company Equatorial Power that started with the idea of a productive use partner found 0 partners who could partner in the long term. All of the productive use partners were attached to projects, GIZ projects or MFI projects at that time, because there were really no MFIs focused on electricity as a cornerstone of their financial inclusion projects. And so Edugrow was born at the end of 2017. And we've had a real hard time looking for financing over because there are no funds, or there have not traditionally been funds specifically designed for appliance finance companies in partnership with energy companies. So energy companies have tried to finance asset financing on their own, but energy investors don't understand microfinance and so skeptical. And then on the other hand, a lot of MFIs have not understood the energy sector and are not interested in, or they're not understanding the need to partner with these energy companies. So we think that this is a really interesting and innovative business model. And the fascinating thing is that we have a lot and credit histories from the energy companies that we are partnering with to help de-risk our customers using data sets that are not available to anyone else. And the other thing that's really interesting is, we are, of course, just like most other MFI in the income generation, but we're also tracking the electricity consumption of our clients. The very, very encouraging and heartwarming result is that our clients are on average increasing their income by 69%, and they're increasing their energy consumption by over 1/3. And half of our customers want additional loans. 0 of our customers could have afforded tailoring or carpentry or welding or small restaurant and agro-processing equipment without us. 0 of our customers could have afforded these things. That should be no surprise to you. But the interesting thing is that if we on average can increase our customer consumption by a third and they want additional loans, we do think that over a 5-year period, we would easily be able to the income generation of the communities that we are working with. And what this means is, as I mentioned before, a redefining of rural energy economics that also redefines a number of other things. If we can do agro-processing to add value to agricultural production in the community, we can help increase incomes and reduce wastage. We can improve, as I mentioned before, education and healthcare in these rural communities. And the most fascinating thing about all of this is really we can be a de-risking instruments for investors as well. If we can consistently provide evidence across a broader portfolio than the few hundred that we have now of across a few thousand customers, where we can reliably speak to energy investors with billions of dollars, saying that if you work with us, we can help your energy investment. We can lower the cost of capital for off-grid and mini-grid energy companies trying to serve the poorest and most marginalized and vulnerable across the continent. Right now, capital costs for energy companies are so excessive that debt is essentially not available to these energy companies. They're being forced to scale equity, which is not really possible, especially when you have 20-year repayback periods. Energy is an infrastructure investment, and just like a road or a bridge, energy infrastructure takes a long time to repay. And if the cost of capital is too high, the investments simply do not get made. And just like any other insurance product, what we are hoping for is that Edugrow can be a partner to both the investors and the communities that we are benefiting, to help really show that rural Africa is investable, also for modern infrastructure. And I'm gonna stop there because I think I've explained the basics. But as it was mentioned, this was a pitch at the outset. We would love to talk to investors in the room. Right now, we're still in need of grants to support the build out of some of our core systems and to hire a few more key hires. But we have a number of projects, as I mentioned already, a formal partnership with the National Energy Utility and all the off-grid energy companies in Uganda. And we're very keen to be into Kenya, into Congo, to Nigeria over the coming years. And we have plans to do so. And we're also interested in equity conversations, as well as right now we're still moving into the debt space. We have done all of our asset financing using grant support so far. We're at the stage where concessional debt is definitely on the table, and we're very excited about our prospects moving forward because the repayment rates are quite good, given that we're helping people earn more income with our assets. With that, I will open it up to any questions, and I'm looking forward very much to the discussion with the rest of the panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And we are going to go with one by one. I will say that you can freely decide who would like to say first, not that we go like this uniform order. And after we go with the questions, we can also open the floor to your questions in the audience. So let's go with the first one. If I can have back the presentation. Thanks. So we are talking about access to basic services and this relationship to access to finance. And we have already had the experiences that each has have in order to promote access to energy access to basic services in regards to enhanced energy access. So the question is, like, what opportunities have been key for your success? What have made you like the leapfrog, or how, which moment or which data or which action make click for you that you said, here we are going to explore and to do commit for improving energy access. So I'll say that Adam already gave the pitch from his story, but now I would like to know from you if you can share this with the audience.
Shall I go first?
If you like.
Okay, for us, Peace Microfinance, we got an opportunity to be a deposit-taking microfinance right from the very beginning. That is the biggest opportunity that has been given to us. The other is the enabling environment when we operate. We got an opportunity to collaborate with 20 organizations in areas of energy financing, and all of those 20 organizations, they do have Lighting Africa certification. We also got an opportunity to collaborate with African Enterprise Credit Fund, and that is the greatest opportunity in financing our coal project. And the other opportunity that is available with us is the Rural Financial Intermediation Program, RUFIP, which is financed by Development Bank of Ethiopia. Behind it, World Bank, IFAD, and African Development Bank are supporting. Those are good opportunities that pushed us ahead with collaboration, having partnership model.
Would you like also to share your opportunities, Mr. Sene? What opportunities have been key for your success and for engaging into exploring energy access in the areas that you work?
Merci beaucoup. En fait, comme donc une offre d'énergie. Mais nos études internes de 2019, 2020 et de 2021, parce que chaque année nous produisons un bilan social. Et ce bilan social prend en compte l'ensemble des éléments qui sont inclus dans l'étude que nous avons faite avec Hedera. À travers ce bilan social annuel, nous avons constaté qu'effectivement, il y a un besoin en énergie qui est manifesté par les bénéficiaires. Un, parce qu'ils n'ont pas accès à l'énergie du réseau national pour des coûts qui sont souvent élevés, mais également certaines zones où nous intervenons sont plus ou moins enclavées et le réseau n'est pas encore arrivé jusque là-bas. Donc cette expression de besoin est venue être reconfortée par l'étude que nous avons faite avec Hedera et qui nous donne la possibilité justement de dire que voilà, ça c'est une demande, à nous maintenant de formuler une offre qui est adaptée à cette demande. Mais aujourd'hui, nous n'avons pas encore une offre. Nous sommes maintenant convaincus que nous devons créer une offre d'énergie et nous avons commencé les bases après que nous ayons reçu les études, les résultats de l'enquête. Nous avons commencé à élaborer un plan d'action énergie pour 2021 et 2022. Et nous pensons qu'à partir de 2022, nous allons lancer un pilote au niveau donc d'une de nos agences ou d'une de nos régions pour voir le comportement et l'adaptation que les bénéficiaires vont faire de cette offre-là pour pouvoir maintenant la généraliser. Mais nous, on est convaincus que la demande est là et c'est à nous maintenant d'adapter notre offre à cette demande afin de présenter des produits qui sont à la fois fiables, de qualité, accessibles et faciliter également certainement un produit de crédit qui permettrait l'achat de ces produits énergétiques. Donc vraiment, on n'a pas encore ficelé totalement l'offre, mais on a une idée et on est déjà convaincu qu'il va falloir que l'on mette en place une offre d'énergie. Voilà.
Merci, and Mr. Deiters.
Thank you. So what I would like to add to it, and I think it's great that we have those initiatives here in the panel, but as I mentioned, so I mean, Triple Jump has this fund where it invests directly into access to energy companies, but I mean, let's say our more mainstream microfinance funds that we are currently managing for many years, I know that those investors in those funds would also be very happy to invest into MFIs that are developing green products. again, such as, for instance, Peace Microfinance in Ethiopia. I mean, ultimately, we know that the investors in our funds today, they look much broader than only microfinance, and green finance plays such an important role nowadays. And I can only encourage MFIs to develop those products so that with our mainstream microfinance funds, we can help to support those MFIs with any type of funding that they need.
Would you like to add from your side about opportunities that were key or have been key for your success? We don't have yet your sound. Another idea that we can do is to have your interventions right after we collect the answers from the other speakers, so that we can have just one session with your questions, and we don't go this back and forth with the sound. Would that be a good idea? Yeah? Okay. I will continue with the other questions, and then we will come back to you. And so we have already, we're starting with the good side. We already discovered the programs, and we have already discussed about what were the motivations for these initiatives and paths that each organization has taken. But we want to reinforce or come back to the challenges that you have had, and what challenges ahead, like from COVID, if they have evolved from you, for you, and how do you see that future with the challenges that you have enhancing energy access? Okay. I'll say.
Thank you. COVID is a serious challenge for the whole world, and it slowed our business. Particularly, it affected our social promotion intervention. We couldn't able to undertake wide-level community awareness, and marketing is affected because we cannot meet with people, and meeting has been limited. And the other is, yes, this COVID-19 is very serious challenge, particularly I believe for Africa. It eroded our social commitment and our social performance because of the nature of it. And the business is slow, and also people have been affected because sometimes the market has been closed, and so from where they can repay their loan, a little bit our portfolio at risk rose during COVID time with bigger delinquencies that we didn't ever face in the past. And the challenge of COVID is multi-factor. It affected the business, and also it affects the social relationship, and it affected our portfolio. Nevertheless, I believe that it will be over one day.
Hopefully, and one day it's over.
Yeah.
Mr. Sene, would you like to go a bit deeper on the challenges that you see ahead?
Merci Nathalie. Je pense que le Covid-19, comme vient de le dire M. Bekele, a affecté de la même façon beaucoup d'institutions de microfinance. Nous, normalement, notre pilote énergie, nous l'aurions dû le tester depuis 2020. Parce que depuis 2020, on avait déjà eu l'idée du besoin. Mais malheureusement, Au moment où l'étude a été conduite, le bilan social qui a été sorti au mois de mars, et c'est déjà au mois de mars que le premier confinement a été décrété au niveau du Sénégal. Et finalement, jusqu'au mois de juillet, ou bien pratiquement toute l'année 2020, aucune activité concrète, si ce n'est le maintien des activités, ne pouvait véritablement être engagée. Parce que les bénéficiaires avaient d'autres préoccupations qu'aujourd'hui d'acheter un produit solaire à cette date-là. Ils avaient des préoccupations familiales plutôt, des besoins d'accès à leur activité qu'ils ne pouvaient pas. L'approvisionnement des denrées alimentaires ne pouvait plus se faire parce que les marchés étaient fermés. La circulation d'une région à une autre, d'un département à un autre a été fermée, ce qui faisait que tout le monde était resté vraiment inerte en attendant des lendemains meilleurs. Et ceci nous a conduit à reporter encore certainement le pilote qu'on devrait lancer en 2020. Mais heureusement que cette étude-là est venue encore nous reconforter dans l'esprit qu'effectivement, cette demande d'énergie solaire ou bien d'énergie propre, nous devons s'y lancer et nous devons en faire notre cheval de bataille. En vérité, le Covid a quand même causé énormément de problèmes de développement stratégique et opérationnel dans les institutions de microfinance un peu partout dans le monde.
Merci, Monsieur Sene. Olivier?
Yes. So I think, as I mentioned shortly in my presentation, so I mean, of course, I mean, COVID had next to the health impact, it had obviously a big impact because of all the economic restrictions and lockdowns in the various countries, and hence you saw the access to energy companies, I guess, struggling with their liquidity because the end clients were also struggling with repayments. To note that many of those companies were still loss-making, so that didn't help in their sort of path to getting profitability. I think that in general, that is also a challenge we see with a lot of big players, for instance, in the solar energy panel market, that are still not profitable. And I guess COVID's only exacerbated things. However, but maybe just in general, if we look at the market in Africa and the microfinance market, we do note that many regions, and I think the MFIs can only further add to that, but many regions actually are, it seems as if COVID is pretty much a little bit behind them when it comes from an economic impact perspective, and where we see that there are still issues when it comes to repayments. It's more East Africa, where you still see some lockdowns when it comes to countries like Kenya or Uganda or Tanzania. And other regions, it just seems that, they are sort of back to business, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So now we have what were the opportunities, what are the challenges ahead? We have an audience that has stayed until the very end of this very intense day, with many institutions interested to know about your experiences, because whether you have already started your own initiatives or you are also interested to start and find a way in order to improve basic services of households, of your communities. So this will be your main message, and you as, with this expertise that you have, what will be recommendations that you give here to all the microfinance institutions that would like to develop products in energy with specific clean energy technologies or specific services, or develop partnerships with suppliers, or looking for investors to have their own programs? What do you suggest to them? What steps to take? Which lessons have you had that you would like to save them from mistakes that you have done and that you say somebody can do it better?
Okay. Thank you. I have a few recommendations. In the first place, to begin with, it is good to have a clear strategy. Unless you have clear strategy, you don't know where you are going, and it is good to have a clear strategic direction. And the second one is commitment and dedication at all levels. For us, the efficient energy financing and the coal project has a special, they have a special champion among our key skeletal management team, and at the same time, we do have responsible people at the grassroots level as well. And this is very critical. And the third one is, it is good to have collaboration with other organizations. We cannot do everything by ourselves. We are experts in financial intermediation, but for other areas like technology, we need to have collaboration. The final recommendation that I would like to extend is, it's good to have a good enabling environment. Unless we have regulatory backing, we cannot go anywhere. At least through our association, like Association of Ethiopian Microfinance, we can discuss on policy issues to lobby and influence even the regulatory body to give us a good direction. That is good, and you might exercise in your respective country. And the other thing is, we have opportunities, collaborators. We need to check each other and have due diligence. And if we work together, we will impact a lot. This is what I recommend. Thank you.
Thanks, Tezera.
Voilà, merci. Mon message, je le porterai surtout à l'endroit des dirigeants des institutions de microfinance, notamment les conseils d'administration, parce que tout ce qu'on peut faire aujourd'hui en tant que technicien, c'est d'avoir des idées, d'avoir des propositions, mais la décision finale revient au conseil d'administration. Donc c'est pourquoi les conseils d'administration devront être suffisamment sensibilisés sur les questions environnementales et également sur les opportunités qui existent, notamment sur le financement propre. Parce que s'ils ne le connaissent pas, tout ce qui va leur intéresser dans la plupart des cas, c'est de gérer le risque. Parce qu'effectivement, il faut se dire que quand même, il peut y avoir un risque. Mais dès à présent, c'est au niveau des techniciens, en tant que directeurs de société ou responsables des opérations, etc., qui devront porter un message clair. Ensuite aussi, avoir une bonne étude de marché qui vous donne d'abord la structure de la demande. Parce que créer un produit qui, au bout de 2 ans, s'essouffle, risque quand même de ne pas être productif. Or, on est dans un secteur, notamment dans les énergies renouvelables, où le retour sur investissement ne se fait pas du jour au lendemain. Non seulement chez le client, mais probablement aussi chez l'institution de microfinance. Parce que ce sont des crédits qui, s'ils sont en très court terme, risquent de ne pas porter les effets escomptés sur l'amélioration de la condition de vie de la bénéficiaire. Donc il faut avoir cette analyse ou cette étude de marché qui vous permet de mesurer la demande, mais d'avoir également les spécificités du produit et surtout avoir des produits de qualité, notamment être en collaboration avec des personnes qui vous fournissent des services de qualité, des produits de qualité, parce que, comme l'a dit M. Tezera, nous ne sommes pas des techniciens en matière technologique. Nous pouvons analyser un dossier de crédit, penser que c'est rentable, mais nous ne savons pas si un panneau solaire est de bonne qualité ou non. Et donc, cela aussi, il faut avoir les bons partenaires et que ces partenaires-là aussi aient le même engagement social que l'institution de microfinance, parce que tout doit être dans un environnement social, sinon on risque quand même d'avoir des problèmes avant même que le produit n'atteigne sa maturité. Donc, je vous remercie.
From an investor perspective, and I think I'll just repeat myself and I'll keep it short, I think I can only encourage the MFIs to, further develop the green financing product. Because it's not only triple jump, right? Many of our PE investors currently also have green financing as part of their mandate. Again, because access to energy is a basic need. And we, as a responsible investment manager, we feel that that's important. But not only ourselves. I mean, of course, we have investors that invest in our funds, and they echo the same, right? So again, I would say there is basically capital out there available for MFIs to develop green financing.
Now that we have the...
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, perfect. I wanted to give you the word. So we hear you now, and we went through the challenges, the opportunities, and your recommendations for microfinance institutions and stakeholders.
Yeah, thanks. So I'll just do one of each, keep it simple. So one of the opportunities and the reasons for our success in Edugrow is, I think, as Olivier just mentioned, and many others on the podium have mentioned, there's finally a real recognition of the need for these types of products, and there's enthusiasm to experiment with companies doing something new like Edugrow, doing something complicated like all the other players on the stage at the moment. But interestingly, on the energy side, it's a bit ironic, but one of the most important realizations has been a sort of introduction to economics lesson that supply must equal demand uh, in order for things to be sustainable. Economically, environmentally, there must be a balance. And we have been focusing for too long only on the supply side, and we've been ignoring communities, we've been ignoring small businesses, we've been ignoring the needs of those who we are supplying. And we are finally seeing a productive energy push for the first time, which is enabling opportunities for companies like Edugrow. On the challenge side, I think one of the biggest challenges that we will start to see is the high cost of distribution and delivery of goods to rural areas. When we are now pushing for hundreds of electronics and tools and appliances that can help people and improve people's lives, moving into remote, challenging communities, the cost of maintaining supply chains and repairs and warranties and things like this are going to be very, very complicated. And there's a risk that it also encourages the cheapest, meaning the lowest quality products, to be the ones that are brought to these communities. And we cannot have the most vulnerable and marginalized being served by terrible quality products. So we really need to work together. And this is one of the recommendations as well, to focus on not only the economic sustainability of what we are looking at, but building the foundation for sustainable rural economies. And sustainable rural economies do not start with low quality products. And we have to find a way through grant support, through market building, exploratory financing, how we can really deliver and maintain those appliances and tools adequately for these rural communities. Otherwise, we're actually doing them a disservice rather than providing a new service. And so I'll leave it there.
Aaron, so if we want to summarize all these messages that we have had today, we clearly see that it is important to understand the needs of your clients, understand what is the demand, what is exactly how you can help your communities with which energy technologies for household or for productive uses. And then once you understand, then develop a clear strategy on how are you going to do it. Not to do it alone, find the right suppliers, look for the highest quality in the energy products. Their quality is directly related to the successful also of your portfolio. And be encouraged to develop this and also look for support from impact investors that are interested also to support you in this process of achieving the SDG 7, enabling reliable, affordable energy for all. So with this overview that we had today, I would like to thank all the speakers. If you have questions that you would like to pose, please let us know here. And we will give you a microphone. If you'd like, please say your name, the institution where you come from, and to whom is directed your question is behind.
Merci, bonsoir. Je suis Besson Ben Ayouk. Je suis chef de cellule de la promotion et de l'encadrement de la microfinance au Cameroun, ministère des Finances. Ma question s'adresse à M. Sene. J'ai 3 questions principales. Je ne sais pas si j'aurai le temps. La première question, c'est quel est le rôle du superviseur dans la consolidation de votre approche stratégique? Le fait que vous ne preniez pas de garantie, est-ce que lorsque vous demandiez l'agrément, vous avez intégré cette donne dans la demande d'agrément ou c'est a posteriori que vous avez pu capter cette trajectoire opérationnelle? La deuxième question, c'est par rapport à la soutenabilité du modèle. Je voudrais bien imaginer un scénario où nous n'avons pas d'investisseurs qui vous soutiennent. Est-ce que vous avez suffisamment de structures financières, de ressources financières qui vous permettent d'appliquer cette logique sur le long terme? Peut-être qu'une question incidente serait de savoir quelle est votre forme juridique. Est-ce que vous êtes une coopérative financière ou une société anonyme? Et est-ce que le fait d'être l'une ou l'autre peut conditionner le succès, l'efficacité, la promptitude et la rectitude de vos stratégies, ainsi que des résultats qui pourraient en découler? Merci.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. So the first will be for you, Mr. Sene, and then the next one will be for you, Tezera.
Merci, monsieur. En fait, dans l'enquête, le superviseur, c'est celui qui coordonne les équipes terrain et les partenaires. Lui, il est au centre. Il reçoit les informations. Oui, c'est celui que je parle, le superviseur d'enquête.
Bancaire,
Non,
bancaire.
Ah, ok. Le superviseur bancaire.
Oui.
Ah, ok, d'accord. Bon, en tout cas, au niveau du Sénégal, il y a ce qu'on appelle la direction de la réglementation et de la supervision. Cette direction, c'est aujourd'hui ce qu'on dirait l'institution régulatrice du secteur de la microfinance au Sénégal. Et dans la demande d'agrément ou dans toute demande d'agrément, l'avis de cette direction est obligatoire avant même de la transmettre au niveau de la Banque centrale. Si vous avez un agrément, ça suppose que l'avis a été favorable et que la direction a transmis le dossier à la Banque centrale qui, après étude également, a donné son avis de non-objection. Donc on pense que le superviseur aujourd'hui est au courant de notre méthodologie parce que l'ensemble des documents que nous avons l'ensemble des dossiers que nous avons présentés à la direction de la réglementation au niveau de la Banque centrale détaillent en profondeur notre propre méthodologie. Donc on est certain qu'ils sont au courant. Maintenant, revenons sur la question de la garantie. C'est une méthodologie que nous avons étudiée, testée dans d'autres pays et qui fonctionne, mais qui nécessite une efficacité et une efficience dans la gestion du portefeuille. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de revenus qui arrivent parce qu'il n'y a pas de droit d'adhésion. Les intérêts sont au plus bas, mais c'est la démultiplication du crédit qui fait qu'aujourd'hui, l'économie d'échelle puisse, dans le long terme, vous amener à avoir des résultats. Mais aussi, il faut une bonne gestion des coûts. Et nous pensons, dans le modèle de projection que nous avons, il est clair que nous avons un horizon au bout duquel l'on pense être rentable et atteindre notre autosuffisance opérationnelle. Maintenant, est-ce qu'il y a, au cas où il n'y aurait pas de bailleur, normalement tout modèle économique doit pouvoir dépendre de ses propres ressources pour se développer et rester viable. Mais aussi, il faut comprendre que tout début est difficile. Il faut qu'au départ, que vous ayez le soutien des personnes également qui ont confiance en la méthodologie sociale que vous développez. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, ce qui nous anime, nous, ce n'est pas tout de suite d'avoir énormément de bénéfices. Ce que nous voulons, c'est que nous ayons la possibilité de prendre en charge nos fonctionnements, notre fonctionnement, nos charges, mais que nous n'ayons pas des excédents qui font de nous aujourd'hui une banque plutôt qu'une institution de microfinance sociale. Nous voulons être une institution viable qui ne vise pas aujourd'hui d'être extrêmement excédentaire, mais qui ne doit pas aussi être déficitaire si nous voulons continuer à offrir notre service. Nous sommes convaincus qu'avec l'efficacité dans la stratégie de notre opération, nous pouvons aujourd'hui, au bout de quelques années, être rentables. Certainement, ce sera beaucoup plus long qu'une institution classique, parce qu'une institution classique a plus de ressources, a plus de moyens d'entrée de fonds qu'aujourd'hui une institution donc, de microfinance sociale. Mais en tout cas, nous souhaitons garder notre vocation sociale. Et cette vocation ne se traduirait pas tout simplement en slogan, mais ça doit se transmettre par des actions que les bénéficiaires elles-mêmes ou eux-mêmes vont effectivement donc sentir dans leur quotidien. Et pour finir, notre forme juridique actuelle est une association. On nous a été agréés en tant qu'association, pas en tant qu'IMF, pas en tant qu'SA, mais en tant qu'association.
Would you like to also answer for the second question?
Yes. For us, PEACE is a deposit-taking microfinance licensed by the National Bank of Ethiopia. National Bank of Ethiopia regulated us. PEACE is a microfinance, which is a share company. Shareholders, they don't pull out dividend. They plow back to the program forever. Due to this, our program is highly sustainable. And we are operationally sustainable since 2004. Even during the COVID time, a little bit our income reduced, but we are profitable. Three things we consider. One, sustainability. And second, efficiency. Our company is one of the most efficient organizations, and we also give values for portfolio quality. Our portfolio quality is in the range of, portfolio at risk is in the range of 0 up to 5% very recently. Portfolio at risk greater than 1 day late. So we have portfolio quality, we have efficiency, we have sustainability, and we have collaborators. And so this is as to how we can operate. And being a deposit-taking microfinance gave us an opportunity to mobilize money from the general public. Thank you. We are banks for the poor.
Okay, thank you very much. I would say it's already 6 p.m. We have had a very interesting session with all your presentations, your inputs, your recommendations. And if you allow, I saw also one question more, but if you can pose the question directly then to the speaker, feel welcome to do it. And with this, I will say we will close the session today, and we wish you a very nice evening to all. You had a question? Okay. Yeah, let's do it afterwards. Thank you very much. Two questions. Two questions.
Allô? Voilà, donc c'est Touré Abdul Karim, directeur général adjoint Crédit Rural de Guinée. Donc, ma question s'adresse effectivement à M. Sene. C'est que nous sommes une institution, d'ailleurs la plus grande en République de Guinée, et nous couvrons le territoire national. Le pays est divisé en 4 régions naturelles. Et sur les 4, il y a 2 régions où vraiment il y a un besoin accru vraiment d'accès de la population à la lumière. Et aussi, ces 2 régions, les habitations sont généralement constituées par des cases en paille. Et la population utilise souvent les bougies et puis les lampes tempêtes. Et nous faisons assez de crédits agricoles. Le portefeuille, on a 35% de notre portefeuille pour le milieu est destiné aux agriculteurs. Et donc, compte tenu du fait que de l'utilisation de ces bougies, il arrive souvent des cas de sinistres qui ravagent souvent beaucoup de cases et qui font que, à ce niveau-là, nous avons des difficultés de remboursement de nos prêts agricoles. Donc, il y a quelques mois, on a initié un produit pour l'accès à cette population à l'énergie solaire. Mais à ce niveau, on a été confronté au problème de coût. Parce que vous n'êtes pas sans savoir que le crédit, quelle que soit la faiblesse du taux d'intérêt, quand vous l'octroyez, il faut quand même qu'il y ait vraiment un retour. Donc, le coût de revient finalement du matériel fait que on a été confronté à des problèmes de rejet de ce matériel par la population, malgré ce constat alarmant. Et j'aimerais vraiment que M. Sene nous aide effectivement à pouvoir surmonter cette difficulté. Ça semble bien que nous avons la volonté de participer à ce défi qui est vraiment un défi mondial. Je vous remercie.
Merci, M. Touré. Bon, penser qu'il y a un besoin ne suffit pas. Mais il faut conduire une étude performante, une étude de marché, qui te permet effectivement de savoir, le besoin, il est là, il est réel, mais qu'aussi, il y a une manifestation d'intérêt, parce que peut-être les bénéficiaires peuvent vouloir avoir un solaire, mais comme tu le dis, le coût est élevé, c'est au-dessus de leurs moyens. Donc certainement, même si le besoin est là, ils ne pourront pas souscrire à votre produit. C'est-à-dire que ce produit-là n'est plus adapté à leurs besoins. Maintenant, il faut voir si vous pouvez avoir d'autres alternatives de produits dont le coût serait à la dimension de la bourse de votre cible. Parce que si vous voulez donner un produit qui va coûter par exemple 500 000 francs guinéens alors qu'il ne peut pas payer moins de 100 000 francs, ça va poser un problème. Ou bien vous voulez leur donner un produit avec lequel ils vont avoir de l'électricité pour la climatisation, la télé, le frigo, 10 ou 5 chambres, alors qu'avec un panneau qui leur permettait d'avoir 2 lampes ou 3 lampes, ça leur suffisait, probablement aussi, vous voyez l'inadéquation de votre offre par rapport à leur demande. Il faut d'abord comprendre la demande à travers une étude. L'étude peut être faite par l'institution si vous avez les ressources humaines bien entendu. Si vous n'avez pas les ressources humaines, il faut externaliser cette enquête-là en mettant un cahier de charges bien clair avec le cabinet qui va vous faire l'étude. Et ce cabinet-là va se charger de vous faire l'étude et de vous donner des recommandations. Mais d'emblée, si vous voyez qu'il y a un besoin d'énergie et que vous allez importer des panneaux solaires qui sont au-dessus de leur bourse, certainement, ils vont vous les remettre. Et donc, je pense que je pourrais vous conseiller aujourd'hui, c'est évidemment de procéder à une étude de marché approfondie. Il ne faut pas le faire de façon aérienne, prendre le temps nécessaire de faire un bon ciblage, de renseigner un questionnaire qui prend en compte tous les besoins ou tous les risques possibles. Et ensuite, maintenant, à partir de ces données-là, vous pourrez adapter ou vous pourrez créer votre propre offre qui serait adaptée aux besoins. Mais j'avoue que je ne pense pas qu'également quelqu'un d'autre peut tout de suite te dire voilà la solution. Chaque besoin est spécifique, chaque pays a ses spécificités, chaque également communauté a ses propres besoins. Donc il faut conduire une très bonne étude de marché. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Natalia, l'équipe. Thank you so much, everybody. We've come to the end of day one